Hello there. I'm Scotty, and you're not, and we are in the final review of Tubi Horror Weekend 4. Uh, Ignore the laundry basket. I'm doing my laundry today. So, with this being the last one, I want to do something big, and originally it was going to be a trauma film. But then I went on Tubi and I saw this Hobgoblins 2. I knew it existed, I didn't know it was on Tubi. Well, it is, and here we go. And if I had to sum this movie up in one word, I think it would have to be, huh? This movie is so confusing. So apparently this movie, even though it came out in 2009, takes place like a few months after the events of the first film, but it's so confusing. It's like super meta, super self-referential. It knows what it's trying to be. They're in on the joke. Unlike the first one, they're making a serious movie. This one, they're in on the joke, and it's almost too much. Rick Sloan, who directed the first one, came back and he hired look-alike actors to play the roles, which apparently was a joke. They're not actually the same characters from the first film. I watched Bloodbath Beyond's review on this. According to them, they're not the same characters. They're just characters that look like, act like, and have the same names of the first characters. And I guess that's one way to look at it and to make sense of the situation. Because, so we're told that McCready, the security guard from the first film, after, blowing up the place he was guarding, was put in a mental institution under the guard of the mental institution people and the professor for these college students that have all the same names and act the same but aren't the same people. I don't know, because he brings them in, they all have the same names, and he introduces them to McCready, and they both act like they never met before, despite the fact that they worked with each other. So maybe I missed the joke. Maybe that's the joke, that they're not the same characters, but they're named after those characters. They dress the same. They look similar. I don't know. They're also played by people who are almost 30. I don't know. It's very weird. It's very weird to me. And they call out things from the first film, like they go to Nick's house and they're like talking, and Kevin's like, "Oh well, as long as he doesn't try to fight me with with garden tools." And then all of a sudden he gives them a shovel, and they do the lightsaber battle thing from the first one. I'm like, what? What is this? I'm like, what? What is this? It's like, what? Huh? This. And then they call out again later when they're talking about what movie to watch, and there's like, oh, this is the movie where puppets turn this girl into a slut. And Amy is like, no, I don't like that. That's too scary. And like, why? You would never be turned into a slut? She was in the first film. Get it? This film feels like the director went to make a serious kind of creature feature horror film in the first one, found out his film became a cheesy cult horror comedy classic, and decided to one up it and try to actually, on purpose, make a cheesy horror comedy movie to try to capitalize on that, and it just doesn't work. Like, it's missing a few things. The first one had like blood, tits, despite the fact that there's this hot nurse who kind of flaunts it the entire film. We never see anything. There's no blood, there's no tits, there's no sense of impending danger, and they changed the way the hobgoblins work. Instead of granting your fantasies and killing you that way, now, one, they can be summoned by saying their name 3 times. That's original. And they go after your worst fear, which is not how they worked in the first one. At all. They use the same puppets, and I mean the same puppets. And this just doesn't comes off as more comedy than horror to me. It just doesn't work. I no, it doesn't work. Uh, there was some funnier background characters, like the guy who cut off his own fingers, the two goofy candy stripe nurses, and even the college professor was because he was confusing. He starts freaking out because the hobgoblins were there, and he freaks out and he's hiding. And then when Kevin goes to see him, he's not in his hospital bed anymore. All of a sudden, he's working again, and he doesn't want to hear anything about hobgoblins, and now saying they don't exist, and he's going to lobotomize Miles McCready. What? And I was like, oh, he must be under the control of the hobgoblins. Nope. That doesn't make any sense at all. And there's other in-jokes, like Fantasia's back, but now she's a call girl on a internet thing, and that's another thing. This is supposed to be in 1988, right? Same year, just a few months later. How's the internet and cell phones? They have little flip phones. I'm like, how? Huh? It's only a few months later. How they have flip phones and the internet? The internet wasn't really big in 1989. Maybe they had the little computers you turn on and went, but that's about it. It wasn't, huh? And it almost feels like Fantasia is working with the hobgoblins at one point, because they start to attack him, and she just stands there laughing maniacally, and it's like, so are they working together? Probably not. I don't know. It's just this movie gave me a headache from beginning to end. Just it did, and I don't know what I need. All right, I don't know what I need. I don't know. Is there a hammer or something in myself in the head with? I don't know. I don't know. What was that? You guys heard that, right? What is that? I don't know. I don't know what that is. But I will say that maybe I should have done a trauma movie, because then I would have gone out on an even weirder note. I probably would have gone out on a solid goofy, schlocky note. But had to do this one, right? Even 10. But, yeah. So, what can I give for this? I'd say so bad it's good, but it's just bad. It's nothing infuriating, like, because I didn't really love the first one. I thought it was okay. I gave it so bad it's good. It was entertaining for what it was. This one is just, it's not worth your time. I'll say that, it's not worth your time. So there's that. What are your thoughts on Hobgoblins 2? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. So, I'm going to say this now. I'm going to do a video on it, but I'm going to be doing a theme month next month. And it's not what you think, but I'll explain in the video more about it. It's actually going to start next week, or tomorrow, from when you're watching this, from when this is uploaded, I should say. But yeah. So thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. I'll see you in the next one. And just to think, I mean, before it was your fantasies that drew them in, right? Now you can summon them by just saying hobgoblins, hobgoblins, hobgoblins. Oh shit. Ah.